Somewhere in this city tonight, someone is doing math. Not with numbers, with layers, with wind direction, with the angle of a concrete wall that might, if positioned right, block just enough of the cold to make the difference. Most people move through winter cities without thinking about the buildings around them. The overhangs, the ventilation grates pushing warm air from basement systems, the recessed doorways cut deep into stone facades. To most, these are just architecture. To someone sleeping outside tonight, they are infrastructure. A different kind of infrastructure. One built for warmth. The first thing you learn on the street is this: heat is a resource. Your body produces a limited amount of it. Every gust of wind steals some. Every cold surface drains more. And once it is gone, genuinely, seriously gone, it is very hard to get back. This is what we might call a biological budget. Every calorie burned generates heat. Every mistake spends it. The goal is simple and brutally unforgiving. Stay in the black. Your three enemies are conduction, convection, and evaporation. Cold surfaces pulling heat directly from your body. Moving air, stripping it from the layer just above your skin. Moisture, your own sweat, evaporating and taking thermal energy with it. Understanding these three forces is the difference between an uncomfortable night and a dangerous one. Let us start with the ground. Concrete and asphalt look passive. They are not. They are massive heat sinks, dense, cold, and hungry for thermal energy. Your body loses heat to the ground up to 25 times faster than it loses heat to the air above you. 25 times. That number is worth sitting with. It means the AIR temperature, the number everyone watches, the number on weather apps, is almost secondary. What matters first is what is underneath you. People who understand this look at a city differently. A wooden shipping mallet left outside a loading dock is not trash. It is a sleeping platform. Wood conducts heat slowly. The elevation creates an air gap beneath you. Those are two factors working together. Stacked cardboard achieves something similar, and cardboard is everywhere. Inside the corrugated sheet, a wavy inner layer called fluting creates tiny air pockets, still air. Still air is one of the most effective insulators that exists. The cardboard is not a sheet of material, it is a chamber. They form dozens of tiny chambers that trap warm air and slow the transfer to the cold surface below. This is not improvisation born from desperation. This is applied physics. Now look up. Read the city vertically, not just at street level. A highway overpass does not just block rain. It creates a thermal ceiling, a surface that reflects radiated body heat back downward, rather than letting it escape into open sky. Open sky on a clear winter night is a radiative heat loss problem that most people never think about. Your body radiates infrared heat upward constantly. Under open sky, that heat is gone. Under a concrete ceiling, even a rough-weathered one, some of it comes back. Deep doorways cut into the facades of older buildings create something architects did not design for, a pocket of still air. The recession breaks wind. The stone walls on three sides, massive and thermally dense, have absorbed faint traces of heat from the building's interior. Not much, but enough to raise the ambient temperature of that small space by several degrees compared to the open street just a few feet away. Several degrees in a situation like this is not trivial. Wind is the force multiplier that makes everything worse. The heat transfer equation is not complicated at its core. The rate of heat loss depends on the difference between your skin temperature and the air temperature, and on the wind. Wind is the variable, that changes fastest and hits hardest. A night at 20 degrees Fahrenheit with no wind is survivable. That same temperature, with a 15 miles per hour wind, becomes something else entirely. Finding architecture that kills wind is therefore the first task. Not comfort, not warmth. Wind. Look for L shapes. Where two building walls meet at a corner, the pocket of dead air on the inside of that angle is dramatically calmer than anything in the open. The turbulent wake of a building stretches for a significant distance on the windward side. The leeward corner, the sheltered inside angle, is where wind goes quiet. Street-level people know this intuitively. They read turbulence the way sailors read water. Now, insulation. 3 thin layers outperform 1 thick coat, not because of the material, but because of the trapped air between them. Each layer boundary creates a zone of still air. Stack enough of those zones and you have built a wall of insulation with whatever you have available. Crumpled newspaper stuffed inside a jacket is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of understanding. Crumpling increases loft, the physical thickness of the layer. More loft, more trapped air, more thermal resistance between your skin and the cold outside. The paper itself is almost irrelevant. It is the air inside it that matters. Moisture is where things get quietly dangerous. Sweat is your body's cooling system. Efficient, elegant, and in winter, potentially lethal. Overexert yourself carrying gear, moving fast, layering too heavily, and you sweat. The layers absorb it. Then you stop moving. The moisture begins to evaporate. Evaporation is endothermic. It pulls heat out of whatever it is evaporating from. In this case, you. In deep, cold, damp clothing does not just chill you. It can freeze against your skin. The solution is counterintuitive. Do not get too warm. Vent before you sweat. Unzip before the heat builds. Staying alive in the cold is not about maximum warmth. It is about thermal management. When insulation alone isn't enough, the body becomes the source of heat for shared systems. 2 people in a small enclosed space, a tent, a heavy tarp rigged against the wall, generate almost twice the metabolic heat. And critically, they reduce the ratio of warm bodies to air volume. A dog's core temperature runs slightly higher than a human's. For many people living outside, this isn't sentiment. It's thermodynamics. It's one reason some refuse shelters that won't take animals. The calculus isn't irrational. It's cold and precise. Food is fuel in a way that becomes literal outside. Digestion generates heat. High-fat, high-protein foods metabolize slowly. They produce a sustained release of thermal energy across hours rather than a quick spike. Eating before sleep is loading the furnace, not comfort. Function. A gas station with a hot water tap. A shelter with access to a kettle. A half-liter plastic bottle filled with near-boiling water, sealed, and placed at the groin or under the arm. The femoral artery runs deep through the inner thigh. The axillary artery passes close to the surface near the armpit. Both are major pathways for blood circulation. Warming them warms the blood that feeds the entire body. The hands and feet, where most people instinctively reach when cold, are peripheral. Warming the center changes the system. Small knowledge. Significant result. Here's what most people don't understand about surviving cold outdoors. It isn't passive. You do not simply lie down and endure. You sleep in increments. You wake to adjust. You shift off a cold spot where your weight has compressed the insulation beneath you. You check whether your outer layer has become damp. You reposition against a wall that has shifted from shelter to wind channel as the wind direction changed overnight. Every hour requires a decision, and those decisions, made in the fog of cold and exhaustion, accumulate into survival. Or don't. Chronic sleep deprivation in these conditions is not just miserable. It erodes immune function. It slows judgment. It makes each subsequent night harder to survive than the last. There is no adaptation that makes this easier over time. There is only management. The physics of heat transfer does not care about anyone's circumstances. Cold surfaces conduct. Wind strips, moisture evaporates. These forces operate the same on every human body, in every city, every winter night. What changes is access. Access to the knowledge to work with these forces. Access to the materials to counter them. Access to the shelter that makes none of this necessary in the first place. The people who understand this best didn't read it somewhere. They learned it through winters that didn't forgive mistakes. What they know about cardboard, corners, and the angle of a wall in wind took time. Cold time. Dark time. That knowledge deserves to be seen clearly. Not as curiosity. Not as hardship tourism. As engineering. Human engineering, built from necessity, running on physics, in the margins of cities that were not designed for them.